There's the ticketing platform. There's payments, both online and venue and POS. There's the customer relationship management platform, right? There's CRM. There's centralized business intelligence. There's data. And I'm going to talk about data a lot. You guys, I guarantee you're going to be sleeping by the end of this. I'm going to hear snort. You guys just ate. How are we going to get all this stuff built? The requirements started with, no matter what we do, it has to be an amazing guest experience. It has to feel cohesive. We're gonna go with a modular architecture. What that means is, it's all chunked up. And if we bring in something that turns out to be dreadful, I can unplug it and I can plug it in very short amount of time and keep the environment going. If you're all startup people out there, the other thing, like, the most valuable lesson you get from me tonight is don't ever do a license with a vendor for more than 1 year when you start your companies. Because you don't know how it's really going to be, and if you can get away with month to month, do month to month. And not until you've had a ton of experience with that tech, and you know it's stable, and you know there's no latency, and you know their APIs work, and you know it does what you want it to do, then you can extend and go for a 3-year and negotiate the hell out of it with them and get better rates. But up front, stay agile and make sure you can switch out everything you need to switch out. For us, we don't really use any of our platforms the way they're intended to be used out of box. So when I'm looking at new software that I want to add into the stack, I don't even care what their customer experience, I don't care what their interface looks like. I don't care what they sell as, we're so cool and our stuff works. We don't care. All I look at is, what are my core requirements for a platform? What's the core functionality of the platform? And is 100% of it exposed via API? And are those APIs documented well? Because we're going to own the guest experience, we're going to own the customer interface, and we're going to integrate all of these platforms together. And we're going to move the data around in real time, and it's going to feel, act, and look like a single platform that was completely bespoke. But it's really an integration of lots of best-of-breed platforms that we've glued together to create one single experience for the guest. And part of this for us is, data is the king. And I don't know what all of your businesses are, but anything that's kind of direct to consumer, like we are, data it's the absolute king in this space. And if I can move it around in real time, and I can collect information about you before you visit, what your interests are, what you're kind of transacting with in venue, what your preferences are for the different types of events, it means that I can get you real-time, personalized messaging that, from my perspective, is going to convert better. From your perspective, is way more relevant to you and helps build that emotional connection to Area 15 as a brand and as a destination. So I talk a lot about invisible technology and visible technology. The visible technology is all the crazy stuff you see when you walk through the doors of Area 15. It's the AV, it's the projection mapping, it's interacting with our POS, and even buying a ticket. The invisible technology that no one cares about except for the business is all of the stuff that we're doing that ties it all together. The custom middleware, the glue, the connectors, being able to move all of this data in seconds. For example, if you buy a ticket on our website, within 10 seconds you have an account in our POS, and it might be a month from your visit to when you walk through the doors and you make a purchase and you enter your phone number. All of that is aggregated into a single customer profile. And that customer profile is updated with these transactional events in real time, which means that my marketing team loves this, because you could be standing in the venue at an attraction that has a virtual queue of an hour, and we can message you in real time and say, hey, this attraction has tons of capacity. Or why don't you go to the Beast and grab your dinner or your lunch, because it's a slow period in the Beast. So we can help guide that experience. And for us, it's great because it's kind of optimizing the spend on that visit. But for the guest, it's great because it helps create a better experience and visit for them, and it makes it feel like they got their value out of their experience pass that they paid $135 for, or whatever we're charging for an experience pass these days. So some of the other rules here, when we first started working on this, was I want it to be cloud first, and that's because we're going to be expanding to other cities. So I want 90% of my technology stack and all of these systems to be centrally managed from one location, likely Vegas. Again, modular, you gotta be able to replace stuff. We're a black box as a venue, we're a black box as a technology stack. Nothing on our stack are we like religiously committed to. If something isn't doing what we need to do, it gets yanked out and it gets replaced ASAP. The other benefit, by the way, of not kind of using these platforms out of box and having really kind of robust APIs with all the platforms you bring in, is it means if there's something that your platforms can't do, you can build it. And you can plug it onto that platform. I just mentioned experience passes. When we opened Area 15, we sold all of our attractions kind of a la carte, like one ticket, one attraction. Then we said we should really go for more of a theme park model where you can buy a pass that gets you 15 or 20 attractions plus a meal or a drink or whatever it is. But we wanted everything to be individually trackable. So we wanted both an order QR code that you could scan for any of the attractions within your pass, and we also wanted individual tickets. But that's so we know exactly when you're walking in and you've done Birdley, and we know when you've done Halley's Comet. But from a financial reporting perspective, it means that we know exactly what our consumption is, we know what our oversell percentage can be, it means that we know what our breakage is, it means that we know which attractions are really popular and which attractions are kind of just bolstered up by the fact that they're in the experience pass, and it helps us tune that every day and like kind of retire the things that aren't that great and replace it with things that are great. But that entire experience pass concept we built outside of our ticketing platform and just bolted it on. So that's all our IP, that's internally developed stuff. We do other crazy stuff, like you can buy a gift card from our POS and you can redeem it via our ticketing platform because we built the middleware to do that. You can buy an experience pass that includes a ticket. That's a QR code that's scannable at our POS in one of our restaurants for a discount. So we're really like, we do a lot more than kind of most destination venues because we're endlessly thinking about how to create the best guest experience. And if you start every discussion with, is this better for the guest versus is this going to squeeze out another couple of pennies, then I guarantee if you're designing and developing things for the guest, it's going to represent significant returns financially for the business. And by the way, every business. If you think about the customer first in every single decision you ever make as a company, it's going to come back and just give you massive returns. We talked a little bit about the consolidated guest profile. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I know that you guys are still digesting and getting sleepy. So I'm gonna move forward. So story, we talked about story being our connective tissue. It breeds that emotional connection to the brand. And we do our best to integrate it into everything. And we were terrible at it when we first opened. We were just horrifically bad. We didn't have the resources. We didn't have kind of the staff to create the backstory. And we were just kind of making stuff up as we went along. But we still, like the first month we were open, Particle Quest launched, which is a story-based experience based on the backstory. But we've just gotten a lot better at it now. And so everything we build actually has this experience and this story built into it. And for us, it means as we continue to develop this IP that we own and we create, it allows a lot of extensions to the business that we didn't think about day one. So digital extensions, media extensions, partnerships, etc. So some of the experiences, Particle Quest, this was one of the first ones that we built internally. It's basically an AR experience built on an iPhone, but we made it cool. We built these custom masks that we get 3D printed. We use an iPhone Pro Max that snaps into the mask, and it acts as your viewfinder for the experience. And it integrates art, game, and the backstory into one experience. And so it also has the added benefit of, these are kind of AR triggers that are custom artwork that Chris Wink actually had commissioned. And they're everywhere through the venue. So if you want to do the whole experience, we're also introducing you to the entire building and everything that's available in the building while you're playing the game. So that's an added benefit. But as you scan these triggers, a couple of things happen. A particleized character from our backstory might show up and tell you a little bit about the story and what's going on. A quick little game might come up, a game of skill that you have to complete to get points, or some information to find kind of the next trigger. And this one is the one that we built early on, where we integrated with the oddwood tree. So if you complete it and you earn all your particles, you have a chance to scan the last code, which actually activates this unique experience on the oddwood tree. Which is cool, right? One individual is causing the oddwood tree to do this whole show that the entire venue gets to experience. So it's cool. And I think people feel powerful when they do it. By the way, our CEO, so since we've opened, our CEO wants to do a $1,000 button, which is on the second floor of the venue, big giant red button. If you pay $1,000, you can stand there and press it, and an entire light show will go across the venue, like the oddwood tree. We haven't done it yet, but we're going to do it. And I'm going to convince them to make it the $100 button, so people will actually do it. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Jetpack Void is a newer experience that we built. It's actually a mixed reality experience. It's built on the Quest. It's built in Unity. Our character, Mecha 9, who I showed you early on, is part of this experience. He's flown into space. He got himself injured. You're actually flying a jetpack. And we integrated this thing with D-Box chairs. I don't know if any of you have been to the movies where they have the chairs that make you all kinds of sick and they throw you around and you're bruised after the movie. I forget what movie I went to see, but I vowed never to go see a movie with that, like 4D, whatever they call it, like Red Rock theaters. Ours is a little bit more gentle, but you do feel the rocket of the jetpack, and you feel the movement as you're going through the tunnel. And you're basically flying through space to find the robot, and you're repairing him live. And your goal is to get him back safely and to get you back safely. It's a fun little experience. And it's interesting, like, we do a lot of kind of VR stuff with off-the-shelf tech. And it's easy for that stuff to kind of feel cheesy, or to think, couldn't I be doing this in my living room? But when you do little things like integrate it with motion chairs, it kind of creates a whole other level of experience. Brainstorm, this is an example of an experience that we totally screwed up when we first opened it. Brainstorm is like a 7-foot cranium that's on the wall. It's a projection map, and we were trying to be all sneaky tech guys. And so we used facial recognition, and we took the guest through this kind of visualization experience. And we were trying to scare them, and we were trying to make them sad. And the whole idea was, as you changed your facial expression and showed different emotions, we changed the artwork that was actually projected on the skull. It meant, if you changed your facial expression, every single experience was unique because it was generated art based on your kind of facial feedback. What we discovered very quickly is, in public, no matter how scared someone is, they don't show it on their face when they're with their friends. So that was a flop, but it was a learning experience for us. So we actually released a V2 of this last year, and we integrated a touchscreen, and we made it more of a personality test, kind of tried and true. And it maps you to these archetypal characters from our backstory. It still does custom artwork based on how you're answering the questions. It maps you to that archetype, and when you're done, you get this cool, thick cardstock card that's kind of a souvenir piece that has your archetypal character. It tells you a little bit about the character, and it has a QR code that leads you to the website where you can learn more about your character. Simple, tried and true, people love it. So that's like one of those lessons as a startup, like make sure you got fit, right? And if you screw up fast and just fix it and roll out the next version. And by the way, you're gonna do it 100 times until you actually get to that point of fit. Bot Breach is another one that we just launched. By the way, I don't know why I'm doing all AR and VR stuff, but Bot Breach is another mixed reality experience, also built on the Quest, also built in Unity. And this one you're actually fighting a robot, a female robot, who's coming to save her friend robot, who has come to Area 15 and hasn't been able to get out of Area 15. And there's two ways that you can approach interacting with this robot. You can shoot at it, but if you shoot at it, it gets pissed and it shoots back. Or you can send energy at it through one of our blasters. And if you do that, you recognize that the robot starts dancing and having a good time and getting really happy. And it's just a fun game, but we've kind of learned at Area 15 that we have kind of two types of experiences. We have experiences like Particle Quest, which are for the people who are really into the story and for solving things, like if you're into escape rooms or you're into scavenger hunts, which is the next experience I'm going to talk about. And those are the folks who like the things that take an hour, or they can spend 4 hours at Meow Wolf just exploring. And then there's also the crowd who really doesn't care about solving puzzles. I'm one of those guys. I don't want to solve a puzzle. I just want to walk around and look at fun stuff. But these things are like micro attractions that we built to cater to that audience. So, kind of quick hit for the ADD crowd, right? They take 5 to 10 minutes. They're fun. They're exciting. They're cool to look at. And one of the lessons that we learned early on at Area 15 is our experiences need to be as much entertaining as they are, they need to be more entertaining than they are anything else. Because it's a Vegas audience, right? Yes, they want to participate. Yes, they want it to be immersive. But they totally want to be entertained by the experience that they're having. So that's kind of the North Star when we're designing these things internally. And Origin Quest is another one of those ones that actually just came out. Takes forever. There's 15 exhibits throughout the venue, and you have to solve every exhibit. I can see why people like it. I understand why they like it. It's very cool, and people do actually love it. But it's like a full introduction to the backstory. The entire thing is about the backstory. And we built a cool web app that you have on your device, and you're walking around and you're talking to our characters somewhere in space who are guiding you through this experience and giving you clues and helping you solve each exhibit. It's cool. It's fun. Guess what? I've wrapped up. And we can now talk about anything you guys want to talk about. I always do questions. You guys want to do questions?
Yeah. Should we just turn this off now?
No, turn it on. Leave it on.
Leave it on?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me borrow the mic. So,
You need a passive.
yeah. So,
Hello?
so I'm going to tell you the backstory on how Winston got to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Because his coming to Las Vegas was our exit from our startup. In 2003, my partner and I, it was the middle of a high-rise boom in Las Vegas. My partner from Boston and I decided we were going to build a high-rise. And we went around and looked around all around town. We ended up optioning an amusement park called Scandia.
Scandia!
And we took that amusement park in 72 days with the city of Las Vegas. And we got a master plan amendment, special use change, a special use permit, zoning change, and conceptual design review. A $700 million apartment complex, or condo complex called Callisto. We needed $75 million for equity. We put a book on the street. We got one response. It was Winston Fish was the third.
Nice.
So we decided to partner. He was going to come in as our partner. It turned out that he didn't want to be a partner. It turned out he wanted to control and own the thing, and we came to terms. And we sold him that parcel of 4.5 acres, and that's how we got the rest of it.
That's great. And then you just kept buying more.
Largest return on investment of anything I've ever done.
Do we have a mic runner? Are you going to do the mic? I don't need the mic. I'm a loud guy anyway.
So what's the plan with the 747?
Oh, lots of plans with this. So I didn't talk about that. I don't need the mic. So I didn't actually talk about the expansion plan. So right now we have, we started with the main venue, which is the single building. We've extended that to what we call District 1. So we have, which you're familiar with, we have what we call the hangars, which are old warehouses. And one of the warehouses, we have a partnership with Netflix for Army of the Dead VR experience. It's been running for a couple of years, super popular. We just announced by the end of the year, we have a partnership with Lionsgate that's opening for a John Wick experience, which is going to be wicked cool. The whole facade is actually going to be the hotel from the John Wick movies. It's going to be cool. We have another tenant coming in called Super Plastics. I don't know if anyone's heard of Super Plastic. They're this kind of cool toy company that's kind of taking the toy world by storm, but they basically, their toys are kind of virtual influencers. And so they have millions and millions of followers. They're a really interesting company. And then we're extending to District 2. And District 2 is contiguous to District 1 as you move down towards Bell Station. District 2 is a whole expansion of a second immersive district. Universal has signed on to be our anchor tenant in District 2. They're doing a year-round freight experience, a couple 100,000 square foot freight experience. It's going to be nutso. This is literally the first experience Universal has built outside of one of their parks as a standalone experience. So that I think is because we've created this magnetic draw for other immersive experiences. And when I was joking earlier about some of the other ones they fail because they're an island inside of a giant casino that's there to get you to gamble. And they become one experience in this thing. Area 15, the whole thing is about kind of gathering people who are into these types of experiences. So the 747, as you walk through District 2, we have an open area outside. We're calling the District 2 spine. District 1, it's indoors. District 2, it's outdoors. The 747 will actually be over that outdoor spine and will be a restaurant and bar experience. It's going to be cool.
So you said several times that Vegas loves its alcohol, while Vegas also loves its cannabis.
It does.
And my business partner and I are co-founders and leaders in the cannabis industry, in an emerging industry. So we get to build a startup within a space that is creating and moving faster than any other space in the past, I don't know, couple decades. But what we'd really love to know, if you can, talk about the consumption lounge license, the Area 15-1, and if you have any insight, and how my business partner and I can partner with you to make it the best.
Woohoo! Good
I have lots of
question.
insight, none of which I'm going to share tonight. But if you share your contact information with me, I'll get you in touch with the right people. We also have a bus that goes from Planet 13 to Area 15. We've also noticed over the last couple of years that people are coming to our DJ events and having one edible at the start of the night, not drinking. And venues love their alcohol because you make a lot of money on alcohol. But yeah, we certainly support the cannabis world, man. It's going to be, it is big business in Vegas already. Look at there. But connect with me afterwards and we'll share contact information. Anyone else? Yeah.
So are you incorporating any of the AI storytelling in the background of changing more of the stories and make them more personal?
We are. So, and again, a lot of it I can't talk about, but we use AI in a lot of different ways. I'll give you one example of boring AI. So I've been doing data world forever, right? And we've all been doing machine learning stuff for a long time.